Hi, everyone. My name is Asya, and I'm part of Instagram's policy programs team, where I lead our work with small businesses all around the world. I'm so excited to be here chatting with you all about all things small businesses, about how to build a brand, as well as engage your community on Instagram. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we think about small businesses at Instagram. Obviously, small businesses are the heartbeat of our community. I'm pretty sure that all of you follow at least one small business or one favorite brand. Across Facebook and Instagram, there are more than 200 million small businesses that use our services each month. And that's obviously a huge responsibility that we don't take very lightly. Since the start of the pandemic, we've really been focused on helping small businesses, number one, stay open, tell their stories, and most importantly, drive sales directly, because at the end of the day, that's what's super important. And then from the small business side, we know that every customer matters and every dollar counts. So we've spent a lot of time thinking about commerce and how to build out our commerce tools so that they can help support the small businesses that rely on our platforms. In just the last couple of months, we launched a shopping tab that kind of allows you to go from just the window shopping phase on Instagram to actually buying and supporting small businesses without having to leave the app. These commerce tools have made it possible for people to discover and support small businesses that they love and also shop the latest trends. So that's really what we're going to be talking about today. And as excited as I am about all of this, what I'm most excited about is to introduce you to an amazing founder, female small business owner who rocks on all things Instagram, has the best energy, and you'll find out why. So with that, Paula, hello. Paula is the founder of Chakra Zulu Crystals. And I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, why, thank you. Hello, super happy to be here. I just wanted to say literally thank you for having me. I do run, as you said, a small business on Instagram. Actually, next month makes 5 years for us on the platform.
Wow.
And yeah, we love it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for being here. So I'm going to be the first to admit that I am new-ish to the world of crystals. So maybe you can just start by giving like a primer to anyone who might also be new that's joining us today, about what we need to know with crystals, and maybe tell us about how you got started with your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am kind of the guru when it comes to crystals. Most of my employees or our team members deem me as the walking encyclopedia. It's kind of just a specialty of mine. But when it comes to the world of crystals, like it's literally endless. There are so many different types, and we love using Instagram to be able to showcase that.
Tell me about how you started your business. What kind of was that moment where you were like, I need to turn this like passion into a living?
Yeah, so I actually was in corporate America at the time, and I remember kind of rehashing my childhood love of crystals. And I remember it being this thing that I didn't get tired of. I was bringing them to work. My desk was, sort of decorated with them. And I sort of, just had that thought process of like, this might be my passion. This might be my thing. I don't get tired of this. Everyone says, find your passion. You'll never work a day in your life. And so in fall of 2016, I literally just got started. I remember thinking, okay, Facebook I use, I'll start talking to my friends and family about it. And then we went ahead and ventured over into, or I at the time, ventured over into Instagram. And that's kind of the beginning of the end, as I like to say.
I love it. That's so awesome. So I know we have a lot to cover today, so I want to just kind of dive in. I want to talk a little bit about kind of building a community on Instagram. So, personally for me, one of my favorite parts about Instagram is the vast community that you have on it. With, over 1 billion users, you can really connect with anyone of any interest anywhere in the world. And I feel like that also applies, to small businesses and a lot of the opportunities that we see for small businesses. I think that in the last couple of years, we've really seen a shift to people shopping their values. So really caring about, where the products are from, who they're buying from, what the background and story of these founders are. And so we've seen that kind of play out through, people shopping diverse owned small businesses, people using our Buy Black Friday tool, which I know that you were part of that program as well. So maybe you can tell us about like what's been your secret to building such an awesome community on Instagram, and maybe what tips you have for some other small businesses.
Absolutely. So it's going to sound a little cheesy, but for me, I think keeping the love of what you're doing at the forefront for me, because people definitely can feel, if it's coming from a place of genuineness and love. But aside from that, I think one of the things that probably helped me grow as much as, like we have, has been like hashtag strategies, really taking time, creating sort of a niche within a niche. Everyone, most people that come across our page, are like, oh my God, your photos are beautiful. The flowers. That's kind of become like, a thing for us. So I spend a lot of time, usually once a week, going to get, like great flowers, things like that. I love shop. We're actually in the middle of creating our holiday catalog right now as we speak. So I mean, there's literally so many tools and nuances to Instagram.
That's awesome. And I heard you mention hashtags, which I feel like is one of the biggest questions that we get. Like, how do I use hashtags? What's the right one to use? And from our standpoint, I think just like building a community, you want to use hashtags that are going to engage your followers and are going to be of interest to them. But I'm curious to hear from you kind of like what hashtags have you noticed that work really well, and what tips could you give to small businesses who ask that question?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I kind of consider myself an expert in hashtags. So the thing that I've noticed is literally choose things that are relevant to what you're posting at the time. So if you are posting, let's say for me, I'm posting a beautiful, picture of amethyst. I want to make sure I'm using amethyst and not necessarily, you know, like hot hashtags that are like photo of the day or
Mm-hmm.
love. That's not necessarily translating to what we're posting. So that's definitely one huge thing. And then creating hashtag groupings. So not leaning on like the same 30 hashtags back to back to back to back. No, 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 no. Take time, create some different groups, move things around in there, keep it lively.
Keep it lively. I love it. You also mentioned, how you've been using the shopping and commerce tools. So I want to chat a little bit about that. I think from our standpoint, we've also really seen a huge shift in power to creators. We obviously know that creators on Instagram are pushing culture forward. We've really seen, I'd say, like a power dynamic shift from businesses and corporations to individuals. And they're really getting their start and building their communities on Instagram. You'll grow a big community and a big following, and then we've seen creators start to launch their own merchandise lines. And so what we've been thinking about is, and really this comes from hearing directly from the community, is that we need to create more commerce and more shopping tools to support these creators. So we've launched things like allowing people to actually shop directly in video. So now when you're watching a reel, you can, and you love that outfit, you're like, where's that from? You can actually shop directly from there. And there's lots of other tools. So I want to hear from you. I know you have your shop, and like one of my favorite things about your shop is how it's organized by your zodiac sign. So I'm an Aquarius, and I was looking through that and I was like, okay, all right, this will give me some good ideas. But can you talk a little bit about how you use the shopping and commerce tools?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love it because it does bring a bit of functionality to the posts, because I say this years ago, but literally a few years ago, you kind of had to rely on someone leaving the app to shop, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of has created this gateway, if you will, for a really smooth experience for your customer and those that are in your community. I literally love to be able to tag products because we do have a vast website. I'm actually having to like switch themes right now because we have too many products for, the theme that I have live right now. And the thing that helps the most is tagging the products. So customers aren't like, oh my God, where do I find this? Under what category? What's the subcategory? I'm overwhelmed. And then you may potentially have someone say, you know what, forget it. I'm overwhelmed. So definitely being able to tag products in a sea of products is my probably favorite thing.
That's awesome. So I think that Instagram shopping is really just one example of ways that brands can drive sales on Instagram. But what other tactics have you seen that deliver really, really great results? And, how can they be paired with IG shopping tools?
Absolutely. So, a thing that I've noticed, which I don't do very often, but going live is huge. I see that anytime I, maybe sit, connect with the audience, discuss things like, upcoming full moons or planetary transits that are happening, and pair a crystal with it, or any products that we offer, that could be utilized around the time of, said full moon. Literally, just do amazing, So I do want to say, don't ever hesitate to go live, connecting with your community, because I've seen it. I'm like, oh, I talked about this, and everyone that was on the live went and bought this thing. Huh? Go figure. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's another huge tool.
That's such a great point. And then the other point that you made, I think really resonates as well around, pairing your content with calendar moments. So, for Women's History Month, hey, maybe let's like lean into that a little bit, or, Pride that was not too long ago. Hey, maybe let's, highlight some LGBTQ plus owned small businesses. So I think those are really awesome points. Related to what we were talking about, how do you think about the content that you're posting, right? So some content might just be for inspiring your community, or driving just like creativity, versus some content that you post which is really directed at driving sales. How do you balance that as you're thinking about how you're using the platform?
Got it. Okay. So I really don't have a formal usage there, like when it comes to, this much, of a ratio. But one thing I will say is, I try to put myself in my customers or in my community's shoes. Like, no one wants someone who's like, hey, buy this. Hey, buy this. You go to the stores and it's like, hey, you should buy this. It's like, we get it. You're a crystal
Right.
shop. Take it easy. So I do try to push things that lean towards mindfulness or encouragement. Um, at least, I guess if I have to put a percentage on it, I would probably say 70 to 30%. So
Okay.
70% sales, but definitely 30% of just sliding in, hey, here's astrological information, or hey, here's feel good information. So to not bombard the audience with constant sales, they know what you sell.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's such a great point. And, we have to realize that even though this is something that you're seeing on a screen, there are real people behind it. And we're not just like, monolithic beings. We have different interests. We want to see different things. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I need a little retail therapy and I'm going to go shopping. But sometimes I'm like, I'm feeling down and I just need like a great inspiration. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Going back to kind of how you use the IG shops, because again, I think yours is one of the best examples that we've seen on the platform. What advice would you have for a small business that is just starting out using IG shops?
Hmm. I would definitely say, just starting out, you have an advantage versus someone who has an established shop, who maybe has to sort of reverse organize things. So I think just starting out, lean into it, tag those products, create gift giving guides when it comes to, again, those calendar moments and certain holidays. We are coming up on quarter 4. So that's usually massive for people with the intention of gift giving during the holidays. So having, your, hot products already sort of lined up there, huge. So that is my piece of advice. It is your
That
best friend.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And if I could just add to that, there are a couple of accounts that I recommend that small businesses who are kind of just starting out follow. One of them is the At Shop account, which is just an awesome account to follow for small business inspiration. They tell founder stories on it. They focus on small to medium sized businesses every single day. Another one that I love is at Instagram for Business, which constantly, has tips and tricks and talks about new features that are available on Instagram that are specific to the small business community. So just a small plug on those two. But awesome. I think this is all great. I personally learned a lot. But before we close out, are there any other tips or insights or just general, pieces of advice that you would like to share with small businesses who are tuning in today?
Sure, absolutely. So let's revisit hashtags. So hashtag, keep it lively, switch them up. Definitely keep your why. I always say this, keep your why at the forefront of why you're doing what you're doing. And then I would probably have to say for the last piece of advice, if you are a small business who is seeing themselves having like immense amounts of growth, I'm going to say know when to let go and ask for help. Know when to delegate and ask for help.
Awesome. Well, I don't think there's anything more I could add to that. So thank you so much for joining us today, Paula. For everyone, maybe say the name of your business and where they can find you on Instagram just before we close out.
Sure, absolutely. Again, my name is Paula and my company is Chakra Zulu Crystals. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, and we would love to answer any of your crystal questions you have.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.